today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. So, very warm welcome to all of you. Hope you're having a great start to your day or had a wonderful day. So today we will continue our discussion on Bhakti. We have been going really deep into the concept of Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Siddha Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, the different levels, all the way up to where a soul can go. Maximum, the topmost prize a soul can get. Today we are going to talk about more practical aspects of what do we need to do on a day-to-day basis. What is some of the stuff we can add to our daily routine that will take us closer to the goal of devotion that we all aspire to achieve one day. So that is what we are going to talk about. So next few sessions, maybe a couple of sessions, I don't know, maybe two or three sessions should suffice. We are going to cover some of the practical aspects of devotion. Theory is all good. It helps us solidify faith. Now, in conjunction with that, we will talk about the practical aspects of it. Devotion, when we talk about devotion, bhakti, sadhana, all those things we'll talk about. And the hope is that we will take away a few things and start implementing it right away so that we start making progress around our spiritual journey. So without much ado, let me share my screen and we'll get starting. We have a hard stop at 10, so we'll try to rush through stuff a little bit today. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and we will get underway. Are you able to see my screen?
Jeet, perfect.
Okay, great. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. Let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. All right, Radha Radha everyone. So just a quick recap with regards to where we are. So we started these sessions 2 years back and we are currently on chapter 4. 4.21, I believe, to be more precise. However, for the benefit of people, we started with the recap series and currently we are in chapter 3. As part of that, we came across the topic of bhakti, and that's where we started getting really deep into bhakti and we pulled up different shlokas across Bhagavad Gita. And today we are going to talk about the practical aspects of bhakti as what do we need to do on a day-to-day basis to keep making progress so that it does not become a mere information from Bhagavad Gita, but we are able to put it to use as well. And that's where I have picked up a shloka from chapter 6, which talks about Ekant sadhana. Okay, we are going to talk about sadhana, why is it needed, and some of those aspects. So I picked up a shloka, which is where Lord Krishna is talking about the significance of doing sadhana on a regular basis, more specifically Ekant sadhana. So let's get started. And this is what we are going to talk about today. How do we progress on the path of bhakti, and what are the 3S devotion formula? Okay, these are the 3 S's we are going to talk about, which are really important for us to subscribe to in our day-to-day routines. So I picked up chapter 6, verse 10. We'll probably pick up 3 or 4 hands today because we have a hard stop, but let's get started. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitah ekakiyat chittatma nirashira aparigraha. All right. Do we have any volunteers?
Awesome. Samji, Rajan.
Okay.
Yogi. योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः.
Very nice, Samji. You recite like Rajdhani Express pretty fast. Wonderful. All right, let's pick a few more hands.
योगी युञ्जित सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः.
Very nice, Sandhya. Radhe Radhe. Okay, we'll pick up the remaining 4 hands and we'll freeze it at 5 today. Okay, let's go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yogi Injita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stitaha Ekaki Yata Chittatma Nirashir Aparigraha. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Vishi. All right, let's take 4 more hands and then we'll proceed.
Rahulji, Radhe Radhe.
योगी युज्येत सततं आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकी यत् चित्तात्मा निराशीर अपरिग्रहः.
Very nice, Rahul. Radhe Radhe. Last 3.
Priyaji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः.
Radhe
Radhe.
Rameshji, Radhe Radhe.
Rameshi.
Radhe Radhe. Yogi Yunjit Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Sthitah Ekaki Yata Chittatma Nirashira Parigraha.
Very nice, thank you, Rameshi. Okay, last 2 hands.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah.
Andruji.
Yogi Yunjit Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stitah Ekakiyata Chittatma Nirashira Parigraha.
Very nice, Chandruji. Radhe Radhe. Okay, Udayji.
Udayji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीर अपरिग्रहः.
Wonderful, thank you, Minaji. Okay, okay, last 2 hands and then we freeze it. Okay.
Uday Kumar.
Yes, Udayji.
Radhe Radhe. Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stitaha Ekaki Yata Chittatma Nirashir Aparigraha. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Last but not the least, Sanita ji. Very nice, Udayji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stita Ekaki Yacha Tatma Nirashari Parigraha. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Anita ji. Radhe Radhe. All right, so let's get started. See, I pick up these shlokas for reference. The deep dive we will do when we get to it sequentially. So this shloka I have picked up just so that it gives us a reference on Ekant sadhana. But I'll not go very deep into this shloka as I would normally do as when we do it sequentially. But these are just quick references for us to build on the discussion that we are going to have. So in this one, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun that those who seek the state of yoga should reside in seclusion. Okay, he's saying it's not that they should leave everything. So we have to look at in context here. Okay, he's saying that they should take out some time in seclusion, which is called Karam Sannyas Sadhana, by the way. Constantly engaged in meditation with a controlled mind and body, getting rid of desires and possessions for enjoyment. So he's basically talking about meditation here, Ekant sadhana or meditation, and that is what we are going to talk about and discuss what is its significance. Okay, so here you see bhakti. These are the things we need for bhakti. Okay, I wanted to introduce these 3 S's, as a lot of you would already be aware of. So these 3 S's of bhakti are sadhana, seva, and satsang. Okay, they are very, very important. These 3 things, if you are doing 1, great. If you're doing 2, awesome. If you're doing 3, okay, wonderful. So if you're not doing anything, add it to your routine. Whatever is missing, just figure out a way to add that. These are the 3 things that will propel you towards the path of spirituality, and make sure you don't take a U-turn. Okay, fall down is like, if you are in the path of devotion, Krishna will ensure you don't fall down. But then somebody might take a pace of a snail. Somebody might decide to take, start crawling. Somebody might decide to jog. Somebody might decide to take a bicycle. Somebody might decide to take a car. Somebody might decide to take an elevator, jet, and whatever, spacecraft. So the speed can vary. And if we add all the 3 things, you are actually increasing the odds of your spiritual progress by many folds. And Swamiji says in his 40 years of prachar, people who have added satsang to their routine, they have progressed really fast. Satsang is very important. The reason for that is not that they were doing the other 2 things. The adding sadhana is going to be difficult. We'll talk about that concept, okay? It will take a bit of a practice to kickstart that activity. Getting into seva, a lot of inertia you will have. But if you're simply doing satsang, which is easily accessible and available to all, other things will fall in place. It's just a matter of time. Okay, if you continue with satsang, seva and sadhana will automatically, you will organically grow into it. Sadhana and seva. Of course, these 2 things have to be added to your routine as well, in whatever form or manner you can. Okay, so these are the 3 S's that we are going to talk about over the course of this and the next few sessions. Okay, already some questions have come in. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is regarding satsang. Does it have to be a physical meeting association or even remote interaction with good
remote? See, what we are doing is also satsang right now. Okay, it is a very good routine, wonderful routine, in fact. But if you can immerse yourself in kirtan, bhajans, and add that routine, even better. This is also a way of satsang. We are associated with like-minded people, and we are talking about spiritual. We are talking about God. We are talking about the words that came out of God's mouth. So this is also a satsang. So it doesn't have to be physical, it could be remote as well. But if you have an opportunity, even better, because that collective vibe, that collective consciousness does have a very favorable effect on our mind. When you go to a temple or a gurdwara, we feel that peace because of the collective vibe which is out there. And when you go to a casino or a bar, the reverse happens. Your mind becomes agitated immediately because of the collective vibe around. So physical association definitely matters, but then remote is equally powerful as long as you are mentally engaged, because end of the day, it's a mental exercise simulation that you are doing. And what we do every day is also a satsang in that sense. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to spend... Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, Anita ji.
Radhe Radhe Nitinji. It's like I'm seeing a pattern here in all these sessions, in your session, in Morning Gems, and in Sapnaji's class. Same topic is taught. I am wondering whether you guys are having a meeting and getting all these same topics, and because it is reiterating in us, like we hear in your session, and the same thing get repeated. And in that way, what happens is it just stick in our mind. So these are all things happening. We're really helping a lot. Thank you so very much.
Oh, that's good. Actually, I have seen this coincidence happening multiple times. Okay, maybe it's Maharajji's plan of designing it in a such a way that
maybe it's. I feel like personally, it's helping me a lot. Like the sessions which I had the last time it happened, like I had the one question, same answer came in your session and in Morning Gems. So like I feel like the blessing is coming, pouring on me like anything. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, but yeah, we definitely don't have conferences prior to our sessions to plan or strategize it. Nothing. I mean, it just happens at its own pace. But that's good to know. I hope it reinforces the concepts that we are going to talk about. So yes, Samji, you had a question too?
Same thing Nita already asked about, like it was same thing also.
It's a good coincidence, I would say.
Yeah, look like. And by the way, that in their session they were talking about even reading the scriptures also in the satsang. To some extent, is it true?
Sorry, leaving the satsang what?
Reading the scriptures.
Yeah, reading the scriptures.
The Gita and all those, reading up some kind of spiritual.
Yeah, Swadhyaya is good. Like when you read scriptural books, that is good. Especially when you are doing it under the expert guidance of a guru or, what they have. But if you keep on reading that, I mean, again, there's a balance there. It could translate to Shastra Vasana also. So really depends on what you're taking out.
Was saying, she was giving a slide, she was showing on the slide that there was a word there, even reading the scriptures. That's what I just want to clarify.
Swadhyaya is good. If you pick up a Leela, you're reading about Krishna, their Leela and all that stuff, that is good actually. And we'll talk about when we get to the topic of Roop Dhyan, how that helps, what you're talking about.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So these are the 3 S's that, like I said, if you don't have it in your routine, just add it. Don't even think twice about it. Satsang is the most easily accessible. Sadhana, you may have to give yourself a bit of a kickstart. And seva, there's a lot of inertia for us to work, right? Immediately the word seva comes, okay, I don't have time. And you start worrying about commitment. And then you start worrying about, okay, do I have the skills? A lot of ifs and buts will start playing in your mind. So those cobwebs, they get removed over a period of time. It's like that leap of faith when we take, people can tell through their experience, it just works out. But find out something. It could be a very small thing. Get into that routine, because our ultimate aim is to become Nitya Das. We are, so the more quickly or more easily or more quicker we start building seva sanskars, the better it is for our spiritual journey, because we have to do seva regardless. End of the day, we only have to do seva only. So it's better to add those sanskars as quickly as we can by trying to overcome our inertia. Everybody has that inertia. I had that as well. Okay. Now let's get started with the sadhana aspect of it. This particular shloka I picked up for a reason, where Lord Krishna is talking about Ekant sadhana. Okay, now let's get started. Is a jug, you see, right? This is a jug of milk. Okay, whole milk, not fat-free milk. So what happens is, let's open a tap on this jug. Okay, so when you open a tap on this jug, what happens? There was a guy who used to, in India, more often than not, it happens, right? The guys who come and sell milk, you ask them, did you mix water with milk? And then this guy says, no, I did not. He said, you are lying. He said, no, I'm not lying. I actually mixed milk with water. Okay. That is how diluted it makes. So when you mix water with milk, like you see here, what happens is it starts becoming diluted. Soon afterward, the proportion of milk, the intensity of milk will start diminishing, and water will soon overtake it, or it will become very, very, very diluted. Right? That is how it goes. However, if you can take that milk aside, right, churn it into a yogurt, you are preserving that milk, protecting it from water, and make yogurt out of it, and then churn that yogurt. Then what happens is you are able to extract butter out of it. If you leave that milk the way it is, you can never make butter out of it, because it will not have that viscous, whatever is needed, right? Those ingredients will get diminished, or they will get diluted, and you will never be able to extract butter out of it. And after that, even if you open up a tap, right, this butter, and this is a vessel here, this butter will float on top, as you see. So there's no effect to that milk at all after this. So the analogy here is, which so beautifully Swamiji gives, is when I heard it for the first time, I said, wow, just makes sense. The analogy here is this milk is like our mind. The vessel that you are seeing, it's like our mind. This tap is always open. What is this tap? This tap is that of worldly association, mostly kusang. Okay. This is always open. So if you let this tap fall on your mind the whole day, it has the same effect that the water has on milk. It is going to thin it out. And soon milk will lose its identity and it will be water only. And that is typically where our mind remains for most part of our day. Because of worldly association, our mind is mostly in material consciousness, worldly consciousness, or in kusang, planning, plotting, thinking, imagining things which are not good for our spiritual journey, which is called kusang. Kusang is not about going and smoking and partying, drinking and all that stuff. Technically, kusang is any such association which takes your mind away from God. So this tap is always open on our mind as we see that. Now this churning aspect of it, as you can see, is Ekant sadhana, which the shloka is talking about. Okay, this is where the significance of Ekant sadhana comes in, where you are churning, you are taming your mind and forcing it to focus until it starts getting into a stable zone. It will start getting into a stable zone. That mind, I've told you, right? It's very malleable. Malleable is a chemistry term. Our mind is also like that, extremely trainable. Till it, and then finally it becomes butter. And then when you, even if you open up the tap, once you have become butter, your mind has reached a certain threshold. Even if you open up this tap, which is the worldly association or the kusang, so to say, the butter will sit on top of its head and challenge it. Now you cannot do anything about me, right? Initially people complain, we don't want to go to parties, meeting friends seems like a waste of time and all that stuff. But then there are times when it is unavoidable. And at that moment, you are in your zone. Okay, when you get into a stable state, you are in your zone and you can actually sit on top of that entire association and still be comfortable and be in your zone. Because that temporary association is not going to dilute your sadhana. You have seen Swamiji, right? He's able to maintain that perfect state always, regardless. And I've seen him in some of the extreme situations. He's just relaxed and chilled out. Right? So he's reached that stage. So we all need to aspire to get to that stage. And this stage, if you look at it, now you float in the world. You are gliding, floating, cruising, whatever you may want to call that. So staying in the world without letting the world stay inside you, just like the boat, right? When the boat, in order for it to navigate through the sea, it has to stay within the sea and yet not let the sea stay within it, come inside it. So the problem does not happen because we are in the world. The problem happens because we let the world live inside us. And this Ekant sadhana is the tool that is going to enable us to deal with these worldly distractions without getting distracted completely. I hope it puts this Ekant sadhana into perspective. That is where Lord Krishna is talking about. And Swamiji also says that this sadhana is very important. This Ekant sadhana, when you do your spiritual practice, it will help you build the resilience that you need to face the world. Otherwise, it will be like 2 steps forward, 4 backward, 1 here, 5 here, topsy-turvy, all that stuff will continue happening. So this is the significance of Ekant sadhana. Today, I'm going to introduce the concept of Roop Dhyan. See, this is a topic in itself. One session cannot do justice to it, okay? I don't know how many sessions, at least 2 or 3 sessions to devote to this topic of 3 S's that we have picked up, but we'll see how far we go. But let's first talk about the very concept of the sadhana, okay? Now, within sadhana, why Roop Dhyan? Devotional meditation, why to do that? There are so many practices, spiritual practices out there. People say you do, focus on breath, focus on your chakras. And then somebody said, you know what? When you are chanting, say Ram, Ram. And when the pause comes in between, focus on the pause in between, not on the God's name. So there are too many practices out there, okay, which talk about how to tame your mind or to still your mind. So the question becomes why we are looking at Roop Dhyan meditation alone. What is its significance? It's not easy, of course. I mean, it is easy, but at the same time, not easy. We'll see why, and maybe some of you can start sharing your experiences around it as well, find it easy or difficult. But let's first understand why Roop Dhyan. Out of so many practices, why there's such an emphasis on Roop Dhyan alone. So let's get into some of these concepts here. Now, Roop Dhyan in itself means, Roop means the form, and Dhyan means to remember or meditate upon. Okay, as you see, this person is thinking about God, or to picture the form of God as they can visualize. Now, obviously, there will be tons of questions that will come to your mind. I have not seen God, and how can I visualize God? What kind of God? We'll address all those questions. So for now, just persevere and let me go through it, and then we can take some questions as well. Now, so technical definition of Roop Dhyan is when you meditate upon the form of God. Okay. Now, the first question I'll try to tackle is why Roop Dhyan? Now, Brahmaji has created world in forms. Our mind is habituated to forms. We've seen that, right? We all, if we say, you know what, I met Ramesh yesterday. So immediately, if you know who Ramesh is, his form will come to your mind. Or when you think about somebody whom you love, or otherwise some family member, or even your parents who are remote or not living with you, or some friend of yours whom you are planning to meet after a long time, what will come to your mind when their name comes? Is it just the name? Their form. You try to get their form into your head. So our mind is very habituated to forms. This world is formed basically in the it's full of forms and shapes. That is how it is created. Okay. And God has a personal form also, we've spoken about, although we have not seen it. But then if we give our mind something that it is habituated to, of course, we are making it easy for it, right? Something that it is not habituated to, we are making it difficult. Anyway, this practice of meditation or stilling your mind is difficult. On top of it, you are trying to tell your mind something even more difficult. Try to imagine something abstract without form and try to think about it. So it becomes exceedingly difficult. So we work with forms. Even in modern psychology, if you look at it, right? Like I was reading articles on these mental conditioning coaches, for who train the athletes in Olympics or otherwise. They tell basically you start visualizing things. When you visualize things, actualizing becomes very easy. So for you to imagine yourself standing on that podium winning a gold medal, or imagining yourself performing to the best of your ability in that crunch situation when you need 20 runs of the last 3 balls, if you're not able to visualize it, actualization becomes very difficult. So visualization, again, when you visualize something, right? In this case, we are going to visualize God. Then your odds of actualizing it, you are increasing it many folds. Even modern psychology supports that, and sports people, they take benefit from that. They visualize, they put themselves in that situation so frequently in their mind that it becomes second nature for them, even when that actual moment presents itself. That is the power of visualization. And Swamiji was telling an example that, he used to forget, maybe a story about a guy that he used to forget posting a letter that he had planned to post in the morning. Until one day he came across this visualization technique. And now instead of trying to remember that he has to post, he started visualizing how he will post. He will be putting the letter, and then he'll get out of his car and there's a post box, and that is how he's going to put. So when he started visualizing, his memory, or, that increased on that, performing that act, that odd increased automatically. Previously, he was struggling. The moment he started visualizing, he was able to do it completely. So that is the power of visualization. In another story, I think Swamiji told about, there was a guy, I forgot his name. He was incarcerated. He was behind the jails, and he was a big chess fan. And during his pastime in the jail, he would visualize playing the world chess champion. I think it used to be Garry Kasparov around that time, or Anatoly Karpov, one of these two. And he would plot and plan the moves, both sides, in his mind only. What is he doing actually? He's doing Roop Dhyan on the chess moves. And when he came out of the jail, there was a match that was arranged with the world chess champion, and this guy beat him. He said, how did he said, I've done it so many times in my mind. So it was very simple for me. So that is the power of visualization. You can actually do that. So first thing is, world is created in forms and we are going to make it easy for our mind utilizing a form. Okay. This is what Roop Dhyan is. Second is, mind needs something to work with. Mind cannot sit idle. We know that, right? It's like that genie out of the bottle. If you try to, that story Swamiji says that, there was a genie somebody found in his attic or basement, and then it came out and he said, I need something to do. And he said, okay, get me this thing. He said, all right, I got it. Give me some food. Okay, got the food. Do it for my friends, family, relatives, neighbors, city, everything it did. What do I do? He said, if you don't tell me anything, I'll eat you up. And then this guy became, he freaked out. He went to his guru, said, what do I do with this genie? He's always looking for some kind of a work. He said, ask this genie to put a big pole on the ground and go up, climb up the pole. And when it climbs up, say, come down. And then go up and come down. And in between, if you want to get some stuff done, then you call upon it. So similarly, our mind is like that genie. It needs something to work with. It cannot sit idle. They say that empty mind is a devil's workshop. Now you're giving a basis to your mind to work with something. In Bhagavatam, there's a meditation with Lord Krishna says, like that genie, you take your mind from the tip of the peacock feather all the way up to the tip of the tip of the toenail of Krishna, and then back up and then down and back up and down, and the genie will soon be satisfied, tired, and purified as well. So our mind needs something to work with. If you are thinking nothing, your mind will think, I'm thinking nothing. Mind still needs to think something. It is an unnatural, unstable state for mind. If you simply say stay in pending, okay, apply brakes to a bicycle, it will get imbalanced. Rather, change it to a direction so that it carry forwards the momentum and it doesn't have to change its basic nature. That is the second advantage that we get through this practice. The third one, this is only transcendental meditation. Okay, life here on of any meditation for that matter. People say transcendental. This is only transcendental. Why? Because you are thinking about something which is transcendental, which is not in material plane. Here you are thinking about Shuddha Sattva, something which is beyond even the three Guni Mayas. We are thinking about God. Fine, you are thinking with a material mind, you can think of material object. We'll talk about that concept. But you are actually thinking about God. You're trying to simulate that in your mind. So that is called transcendental meditation. Okay. So much so that it is called the life here of any meditation. If you're doing any other meditation, if you're not thinking about God, it is called an activity, just like a body without life hairs. Eagle is a very interesting creature. Brahmaji has created so many interesting creatures in this world. Eagle could be flying 3,000 feet above the ground and can still spot a squirrel or a rat which is not moving. So it is able to discriminate a living from a dead. That is how wonderfully Brahmaji has designed an eagle. And so many other species are there as well. So somehow it is able to figure out that the life hairs have gone away from it, right? And then it knows I need to feast on it because this body is dead. Similarly, if we do any meditation practice without bringing God into it, it is like a dead body. It's just a matter of time before Maya in form of eagle will feast on you. Okay, not possible. You cannot go beyond Maya. Because you are not going transcendental. At best, you might be in Sattva, but you are not going past Maya. So you are still vulnerable to the eagle in form of Maya. Because what you are doing is without life here. It doesn't have the very essential ingredient that is needed in meditation. Okay, so that is another reason why we need to bring God into the mix. In fact, it is said that when you sit in Samadhi or doing any other practice, Maya is like that sarang bee. Sarang bee is something which continues to chase you. Okay, and in order to ward off that bee, you may choose to dip underwater. So you've gone underwater, it cannot chase you inside water. So it will keep hovering around. The moment you take your head out of the water, bee will again catch you. So same thing happens with all other practices. Okay, for as long as we are doing all the stuff, thinking about Nirakar, light, and any other practice, whichever chakra you have gotten into, the heart chakra, and now you're moving up, all that is fine. But you have still not vanquished Maya. It can still catch hold of you when you least expect it. Okay, that's another thing, because you are not doing anything transcendental. You are still operating in Maya, maybe at a very elevated level of Sattva, but you have still not gotten Shuddha Sattva, which is truly transcendental. Okay, that's another reason for that. And then gives us divine results. Prema Bhakti. We've been talking about Prema Bhakti, all the levels of Prema Bhakti, Sneha Bhakti, Rag, Anurag, Pranay Bhakti, Bhavavesh, Mahabhav, all the way up to that. This is what we get when we do this meditation. No other practice will lead you there. Okay, this is how it goes. And the fact that Gyanis say that, how can you objectify God? It is like a Nirakar light. Then when you make an image of God in your mind, it is material. That argument is valid. But ask a Gyani that the light that you are making in your mind, is it not material as well? Have you seen the divine light of God? Nobody has. So God has actually made it easy for us. One of the spiritual principles is when you make a material image, because our mind is material, with a divine sentiment. When we get into the specifics of Roop Dhyan, we will talk about, what do you need to do? What kind of sentiments you need to build? But when you build a material image with a divine sentiment, you get a divine result. You build divine sentiments with a divine object. Our mind is material, but if it becomes divine and you think divinity, of course, you'll get divine results. And if you are divine and you are thinking about a material object, still you'll get divine result. One of the variable has to be divine and you get divine results. So Roop Dhyan meditation, when you are having divine sentiments, even though what the image that you are trying to form in your mind is material because you have not seen God, you will still get divine results. That is how it works. To an extent that when you start transcending from Siddha Bhakti to Bhav Bhakti, it is said that Krishna and God or your Ishtadev will start coming in and start enlivening your meditation as well. Now what happens is, in your sattvic mode that you are attaining in your meditation, the Shuddha Sattva start mixing. And when it starts mixing, then you start experiencing transcendental stuff. Okay, you can start experiencing interesting stuff there as well, enlivening of meditations and leelas and stuff. So, okay. Any questions, Samji? No out of syllabus questions, please, today.
Samji, Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe.
Nitinji, what is meant by divine sentiments towards material objects?
Divine sentiments is you don't consider him as a material boy. Okay, Krishna is an ordinary boy. So when you divine sentiment means you actually consider him that, he's God and he's my spiritual, whatever relationship you have established. We'll talk about Roop Dhyan. What does those sentiments entail, basically?
That means, can we consider some human also as God and apply divine sentiments to that human?
Or you can, as long as you continue to have consistency in your sentiments and your sentiments don't change. If you see that human smoking one day and you say, oh my God, what kind of a God was he? Then it's not good. Sure. People say, the kids are God personified. But the problem is that is just an outer statement. They are not truly seeing divinity in them. It's only because it's their kid or somebody that they are fond of. They are saying that. If that is the case, they should see that divinity in everybody and forever. So yes, you can see that. I mean, a lot of people say, can I see, Krishna as the Krishna that I've seen, Nitish Bhardwaj, or the more recently, the guy who came, or Ram Bhagwan as Arun Govil? Sure, you can do that. But the problem is that your sentiments should not fluctuate when you see them in a different role, because for them, it's just a role, right? So tomorrow, if they start playing some different kind of roles in a movie, then you should not feel, what kind of a God was he, right? Like this guy I was telling the other day, Lakshman, he got beaten up in a village because he lit up a cigarette. And people said, you are Lakshman. How can you light up a cigarette? But he's not Lakshman, right? So yes, you can do that to answer your question, but then it's not a good strategy because those sentiments could fluctuate based on, because they are not perfect, right? So what if you come across some news which does not resonate with you? Then what happens?
Okay.
then you will end up doing Namaparad because you thought God and you'll think negative about the God, right? So I don't know what will happen. So it's usually not a good strategy. Okay, any more questions?
Chandruji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
We'll cover at least two aspects of Roop Dhyan, 2 or 3, time permitting. Yes, Chandruji.
Nitinji, would like to ask on that example you gave of the eagle. It sees the squirrels and the roaches moving and knows they are alive. But if they are dead, it soars down to catch it. But how does this analogy apply to our Roop Dhyan? I'm not sure about that.
So what I said, Chandruji, just to clarify, is any practice, meditation practice that we do, which does not have God in it. You're not thinking about God. You're not remembering God. You might be thinking about breath, right? Or you might be doing that Kundalini Jagran, or you might be focusing on your chakras and stuff like that. Because it is devoid of God, it is like a body without life here. And eagle is like Maya. It will catch you. You are not beyond Maya. So that was the analogy. Hope it makes sense.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
God is an essential ingredient in meditation. And I'll tell you, when I say divine results, see, 2 things happen. One of the aim of meditation is for you to tame your mind, bring it under control, and have that ability to focus for an extended period of time. That you can achieve even through, all the other breathing techniques. Even if you do pranayam, your mind will still, or you can focus on breath. There's so many meditation practices out there. The second objective will not be achieved. That is the purification of the mind. The cleansing of your antakaran will not happen because of those practices. That can only happen when you think about something pure. And only thing which is pure is which is beyond Maya, which is Shuddha Sattva. And the only thing which is Shuddha Sattva is God or God realized saint. It's a very simple simple logical explanation to it. Right? So that is how it is.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you. Yes, Monica ji.
Radhe Radhe Nitinji, Radhe Radhe everyone. So, Nitinji, how do you visualize God when you've never seen Him?
That's a very good question. So, I'm glad you asked that. And that is where we are going to spend some more sessions. Okay. So it's not going to be a straightforward discussion. So today, let me just introduce how do we do Roop Dhyan, right? We are going to talk about this topic in today's session and maybe another session or so. How do you visualize? It's a very good question. So let's say Roop Dhyan sadhana steps. Maybe I'll introduce a few and your question would get addressed as part of, the discussions that are going to ensue as part of this talk, right? How much time do we have? Maybe a couple of them we can introduce today and we'll continue. Now, the first one, close your eyes. Okay, not necessarily. I'll get to the open eyes as well. And form the image of your Ishtadev / Radha Krishna. Now, I put Ishtadev because I don't want people to feel that, we're talking about Radha Krishna is a preferred form of God. We have spoken about this topic. Why? Because God is all the same. However, if you've gotten a lot of affinity for another form of God, you can visualize their form, your Ishtadev's form, when you close your eyes. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, now the plot is going to get thickened, right? All the kind of questions are going to come up. So we'll have a bit of a discussion. Helpers, I put in some helpers here. Now take help from picture of your Ishtadev to begin with, okay? For your imagination, and then form your mental image. Now feel free to imagine their features as per your liking and decorate them as lavishly as you want. You don't have to pay for anything as well here. What you can do is, if you are able to difficulty forming an image of them, you can open your eyes again, look at the picture, close your eyes again and try again. This is something you'll have to practice to begin with. Now Maharajji said there are, I think, 8 kind of murtis you can make. It is made up of the deity in front of you, marble, wood, brass, all that. But he said the best form of murti is what you make from your mind. In whatever form it comes, it is the best. But of course, it will take a bit of a practice. But this is the starting point. Typically, whoever is your Ishtadev, one kind of image would come to your mind very easily. Keep that deity in front, keep that picture in front, look at it, close your eyes, form that image. If you're not able to form it, open it again, do that, keep doing it, it'll start happening. But we have to have some point of starting, right? Somewhere. And you will say, how do I know? I have not seen God. That is your question, right, Monica ji? We have not seen God. Very true. And we will not be able to see his divine form until we have divine eyes. Upgrade we get. So it's a chicken and egg kind of a situation. I have not seen God. You're asking me to visualize God. Fair enough. You just visualize as best as you can. He's seated within. He knows your attempts, the trying that you are trying to make, and you get credit for that. Okay. So it's your simulation that you are trying to do, for which you will get credit. In fact, if God shows his form to you today with your material eyes, you may even become an atheist. Why? Because you will say, people, scriptures say, saints say, God is so exquisitely beautiful. You know, you will faint seeing him and this and that. And it looks ordinary to me. So cannot be possible, because you cannot really appreciate his beauty unless you have gotten the divine upgrade like Arjun did, but he saw the cosmic form. But then we are not able to appreciate it unless we have reached that. So even if he shows you his form, first of all, divinity we cannot see, right? Yeah, even though he may look like a blue or a dark blue, I don't know what that divine color is, but you will not be able to truly appreciate it. So God says, I will manifest when you are ready for it. But until then, you simulate it in your head. And it's something similar. See, have we become an IAS officer, or have we gone through an administrative services job to become an IAS? No. We work towards it, knowing there is something good there. And then we become, and it's a similar thing. You simulate it in your head. And then the magic will start unfolding as you deepen your practice and you keep on progressing. When you start into bhakti, that in itself, God starts giving you what you call some carrots of how he would look like, and start creating all the magic. But to begin with, you'll have to do it this way only, because that's our only reference point. Hope it answers part of your question. And when you say image, yes, one more question. And one more thing I wanted to add, and then we'll come back to that question. When you talk about image, and Krishna were to come in today's age and he starts running around with the peacock feather and the pitambar, then he'll say what kind of a crazy guy he is, right? Then he'll be much more contemporary, trendy, maybe a dude, right? He'll play baseball, soccer, and all that stuff. So feel free to imagine as you wish. There's no limitation to going conventional only in that matter. That is the beauty of Roop Dhyan. Sentiments matter. What you make him wear and nothing matters at all. Yes, Monica ji, please go ahead.
So Nitinji, so there was a serial where Krishna was coming, and then the light was behind him, so we could see his like outline structure. We knew that that's Krishna, but then not his features. So when I try and do Roop Dhyan at that time, obviously, see, I always feel, because I remember that you said in whatever form you visualize him, you'll meet him in the same form. So I don't want to imagine Saurabh Jain.
No, but then you have to understand that it will grow into you. You know, that curiosity to know his features little intimately will grow. You will not be satisfied just with your first image, right? It is going to be an evolution, even in your practice. So wait to get it out, but at least have a starting point somewhere. So don't get scared that if I'm not seeing his features, that's how it's going to manifest. It's not going to happen tomorrow or after, right? So until then, you will start forming some kind of a thing, and there are a lot of stages that will come in between anyways.
Okay. So my question was, even if we see him as, someone who is going to reveal himself, but continue imagining him as someone who's like right there, but then without features, that's also fine, right?
See, the sentiment should be that I'm seeing Krishna. Okay.
Yes.
And then let Krishna do the rest. You just form a sentiment that I'm actually imagining my Ishtadev. Okay, I'm using Krishna in this case. Okay, so if you are Ram, we are welcome to do that. But Krishna, there are advantages. We can talk about it as well. As long as that sentiment is there, that is what you get credit for. Not getting it perfect. Even if you think about your father or your mother, you cannot get their nose or ears or every feature right. You just have a feeling that I'm seeing them. Right? You work with that feeling. That is more than enough. We can never get the features right of anybody in this world, even if you imagine it to the best of your ability.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Prakash, I think we'll talk.
Can I share my experience on this, Roop Dhyan, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
See, whenever I do meditation in the morning, I try and see Radha Krishna Jodi as such, but I just see their form. I always see a blurred image of theirs. but I make sure that they are together. I'm not able to see their face so clearly, but in my mind, I know that they are relation. That's how. I don't do it forcefully. It comes to me by nature only. I guess that's the way to do it.
Beautiful. You just keep deepening it, okay?
Yeah.
And just wait out what happens next. But as long as you have that sentiment and you feel that for whatever duration of time you are in that practice, that is a great starting point, okay, to do that sadhana. And just keep it.
I'm sure they will reveal their true face to me.
Sure.
That's the faith you should have within you.
It has to happen, Shyamji. There's no other choice, right? See, God, we get happiness. Even God seeks happiness. How does he get happiness? By serving his devotee. Okay.
True.
So you are actually creating a reason for him to become more happy down the line for you. So it has to happen. You just keep focusing on your practice. Great point. Yes, Prakash, you had a question too?
Yes, Nitinji. Yeah. Radhe Radhe. So, Nitinji, this is a very beautiful topic. So I have two aspects on this. About the Roop Dhyan and form, right? I always adopt a strategy that whatever Swamiji has actually shown in his books, right, or in his videos, I take those forms because I think he's approved them. Okay, so there's no doubt about it, right? So then that's one option, and the second strategy I use is I always imagine Swamiji himself, because God and Guru are same, are one each other, right? So if you do a Roop Dhyan and Guru, it's like doing Roop Dhyan and God, right? See, in that way, there's no benefit of doubt there. So 100% for sure that we are doing the right thing. So that's what I generally do it.
That's a great point you brought in. Yes. We'll get into that topic as well when we talk about Guru. But yes, beautiful point. That's a great, whatever works for us. The key is to take our mind to God and deepen that association or that practice as best as we can till we reach Bhav Bhakti, right? Yes, Lakshmi ji. Okay, now I know we can take two hands real quick. Any announcements you want to make before we take that? Because I know we have a hard stop at 10. So yesterday, by the way, we had a very good session with Swamiji's Angels. If you have not signed up, do check it out. It's a great opportunity to help Swamiji in his noble cause, and we could be part of something very historical that is going to serve the generations to come. So check it out. We also have our Bhagavad Gita group that we have created. You are welcome to follow or not follow, join that group. Although the angel, that goal does not become collective, it is still individual goal, but it is good, if you want to associate ourselves with a bigger group, that will be good. It shows solidarity and we can motivate each other. So we do have a group. We have about 15 members. Feel free to join that group and help out Swamiji on his cause. And it's a great activity. Like Swamiji was saying that when as part of his when he started doing that, this activity was something which was very purifying. When you go out and ask, open yourself up and ask for money from people without any fear of getting judged and stuff like that, and you're not doing it for yourself, it is very purifying, and you're doing it for the sake of God, right? And you get help from unknown quarters as well, as a lot of you would already know. So check it out. That is one thing I wanted to talk about. Maybe we'll post the links on there. If we have that, we can post the link for our group where you can join the group and feel free to put in funds if you can on any of the members, or you can join as a member as well. Any other announcements before we proceed further?
We have Swamiji's India tour going on. He is in Baripada from January 25th. Then he's going to Rairangpur. Then he's going to Tatanagar and then Karanjia. And then we have on this Saturday a Sadhana Seva Day at Architect Dallas. So please come and see for yourself the 3 S's of this Bhakti Marg, Sadhana Seva and Satsang. And then we have the family camp coming up July 4th. From July 4th, please feel free and join this once in a year event. People around Dallas from anywhere in the world can join it, but I can't come. But people from around the world, around Dallas, Satsang group can come for sure. And then we have a few charts in the comment box, Sujanji.
Sure. I just wanted to tell, tomorrow we will try to cover this topic. It's a very deep topic. Very practical topic and deep topic, and we will also have a guided meditation from Swamiji. So if you have not started with Roop Dhyan, this is a good way to start. and share your experience. So tomorrow we will do that. We'll go through the different things that you can do during Roop Dhyan, some of the practices that you can adopt to help, accelerate your journey, or at least kickstart. And then we'll do a meditation from Swamiji as well, guided meditation tomorrow, and see how that goes for all of us. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yes, please go ahead. The comments that we can read through.
Yeah, there is one comment from sorry, 1 second. I just missed that.
I have about eight or 9 steps that I've documented. Okay, on this, that we will cover the remaining ones tomorrow on the Roop Dhyan sadhana, and don't want to miss those, because these are very, very practical tools that you can employ with immediate effect.
Yeah, Ganapriya ji is saying, please send few images of Radha Krishna to start our Roop Dhyan. Manisha ji is saying, what should I imagine, Shiva or Krishna, as I have same feelings for both of them? Then Ganapriya ji is saying, I have been practicing Roop Dhyan since 1 year, but Krishna's image keep changing in my mind every day. So what?
We'll talk more about it. I think we have just 5 more minutes, right? So we'll talk about all these things tomorrow. Ishtadev, these are topics in themselves, but yeah, we'll talk about it. That's why I've put in your Ishtadev / Radha Krishna and everywhere, okay, so that you don't get confused, but we'll talk about this topic as well.
Okay, that's it. And so Shilaji is I like to, can I say?
Sorry. See, Roop Dhyan is a silver bullet meditation. It's transcendental. It will help control your mind, bring your, tame your mind. It will purify your antakaran, and it will help you build devotional sentiments, right? And it will help you, practice your karma yoga better as well, because now you're building association with God. That consciousness will keep persisting like that butter. So it has like so many benefits. No wonder Maharaj Ji was always putting so much of emphasis on this word, Roop Dhyan, do meditation. So, but we'll talk more aspects of it tomorrow, go a little bit into theory as well. Yes, one last question, maybe real quick. Yes, Shyamji, you saying something?
Please go ahead.
Sorry?
Hello?
Yes, Lakshmiji.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Lakshmiji, I guess.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Only thing is, when I'm trying to do a Roop Dhyan, I see only a light, however, I'm trying to get the image of Sri Krishna. But sometimes when I deeply think and see, try to see, I see just a flash of his lotus feet and then it goes off. So however, I try again for some time. I mean, I'm not getting anything. So this thing going on. So how to improve myself?
No, I mean, see, look at the blessing and disgrace around it. Krishna is very smart in that sense, right? He might be fueling your curiosity even more. Now you are having Vyakulta, it says, right? I want to see, I need to go beyond feet. So let him do his own job. You focus on your, keep trying it. Maybe he's testing you on that, right? So Krishna is called Tribangi Lal not for no reason. So he has his own ways of getting the ghee out. Okay, so maybe he's working on you. So you keep focusing on your own thing. Magic will happen automatically.
Okay. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
All right. Okay, so with that, I'll hand it over to, I'm not sure if Sunil Bhai and Ajay are there. Okay, I see Sunil Bhai already. Okay, so Radhe Radhe from my side. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll continue on this fascinating discussion, and you can stay back for the next session. I'll see you tomorrow. Radhe Radhe. Over to you.
Thank you.